Welcome to Transfers on Tour. Archie Gray to Tottenham. Doma ni Mind. Let's go. Welcome to Transfers on Tour, and finally, for the first time this season, we get an official Doma ni Mind. Here we go. Archie Gray from Leeds to Tottenham Hotspur. Ben, finally, how are you feeling about this?
It's almost a relief, isn't it? So Ryan Isaacs is in the mud because he said we weren't signing anyone for the entire season. So it's like we've woken up today. Ryan's in the mud. We're all happy. It's a decent signing. We're going to talk about it. It's a fun one. It's nice to be part of an actual transfer for a change.
It is, yeah, it is. So obviously, I got some slides ready for us, as quick as I could. So to talk about this transfer, because it's not the easiest one, but Archie Gray in and Joe Rodon out. According to Apopi, Tottenham Tears released this morning. We are paying around 40 million for Archie Gray after activating the release clause and meeting demands restructure, which apparently was the issue that Brentford had with Leeds, was the demands that Leeds wanted. But also, on a separate transfer, Joe Rodon will be joining Leeds permanently for a deal around 10 million. So altogether, we're looking at around about 30 million for Archie Gray, which I think is actually quite a really good deal.
Yeah, it is.
For a player as such high, what is the word?
Potential.
Potential, yeah, such high potential. And he already looks like a fantastic player, doesn't he?
Yeah. Like other people, it's not a sort of a needle mover signing in the words of Mr. Sava himself. But what it is a quality player to come into the ranks to be unseating players such as Brian Hill and players that aren't necessarily good enough to get into that team. I think Archie Gray is versatile, and I think that will really suit the manager that he's going to be working under for the next season. I think it's a good signing for the short term in terms of let's see what happens. But of course, if this is the only signing of the summer, we're all going to be a bit annoyed. But as a future signing, I think this is a really good player, and I think he's going to do some good work at Tottenham.
Yeah, and going on, your obviously talks about him, versatile player. I've got some stats here. Now, obviously, don't get me wrong, they don't look good, but bear in mind, this is a championship player. He's obviously still a huge, huge raw talent, and there is a lot of work to be done for him. Now, I brought this up here now quickly, is because he's predominantly been playing as right back for Leeds, like an inverted right back. So we're looking at a Pedro Porro. But another position he's really good at is apparently as a defensive midfielder or a centre mid. So I think that's that Basuma style role, sitting back a lot more, helping the defence out a little bit and covering up positions from when we invert on them fullbacks. So, and there's his heat map. As you can see from his heat map, he moves around on the pitch, to be fair. Obviously, he's predominantly right-sided, but this kid likes to move about a lot. So where do you think he's going to predominantly be playing? Do you think he's going to be this backup for Porro that the club was talking about early on in the window? Or do you think he's going to be multi-purpose type player? We get an injury there, someone there, blah, blah, and he's moved around.
I think it's the latter, Dave. He's 18 years of age. He's not going to be thrust in the team immediately. We've seen Ange's not really been playing youth players this year, as we know. So I think he's going to be a backup for now. But I think it's a good sign to have a player that is young, and we'll see how it goes. He's very, very raw, 18 years of age, and he's not going to set the world alight. We shouldn't put all this stress on a young player, especially coming in from the Championship. But I think he's going to be multi-use for the moment, and it allows us to get rid of players like Skip, who was supposed to be the more versatile options. He just isn't. So I think he's going to be that guy. I think Skip will go to Leeds as well. I think that'll be another separate deal on loan, because we do need to have a few youth players to go out as well. I think he's just going to be the Skip replacement. But he's young, he's talented, and I think he can do a bit of a job.
Yeah, do you think it's looking good for us coming to the future with, obviously today officially Lucas Bergvall becomes an official Tottenham Hotspur player. His contract is now live. with such a young squad, do you think we're building now for not next year, not the year after, but multiple years where we only need to add little certain players in certain positions rather than having to like do a full rebuild on a full squad, especially for managers in the future having such a young squad now?
I think it's just a typical Tottenham signing, Dave, to be honest. It's a typical Tottenham signing. Buy young players, sell them higher. I think Archie Gray is going to have a massive resale value if he does become the player we think he's going to become. And we'll have to see, but we need some players for now. We need some players for now. The squad isn't good enough now, and we need to stop thinking about 3 years in the future. We need to go now. This manager isn't going to be here for that. He's only really going to be here for 3-4 years. That's his contract. So we need to start winning, hopefully, with him now.
Yeah, great news. Well, on that note, mate, thank you very much for joining me. To everyone, check out streams during this week. There's going to be lots and lots of content. Friday, there will be a Transfers on Tour at 6 p.m. Hopefully, we've got more news then and more details on this transfer. But Archie Gray to Tottenham. Thank you very much, Ben.
Brilliant stuff.